is not a drill, this is not a drill. All warriors mount up. Proceed to nav point Gamma. Rendezvous with Mobile HQ for tactical and situational analysis. Welcome to the MHQ Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Jose. This is our part 2 on the GenCon 2024. With me is my other co-host, Ronald Tulsa Baker. How you doing, Ron?
It's good, and it's Sula. It's not Tulsa. I don't live in Oklahoma.
Well,
Sula.
yeah. I've always wanted to say that though, so I thought I'd throw it at you.
That's fine. But yeah, it's Sula.
Sula.
The T is silent.
Okay, Sula it is. So that was your first GenCon ever, correct?
Correct.
Well, okay, I got to ask you the basic question. What was your impression of GenCon? Because I know you were there for at least 3 days.
Yeah, I did the whole 3-day thing. Left early Sunday morning. That's a different story for a different time.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But I really was like shocked at how big it was. Actually, it was really a lot bigger than I thought it would be. But they sold out, so it was like 75,000 plus people for all 4 days. So it was massive. It was huge.
Yeah. I'm hoping to join you guys and go next year. But that's neither here or there. So what did you think of the convention? I know that you played in the first day of the 350 tournament.
Yep.
But that was Friday. What was your Thursday like?
My Thursday was basically just walking around the convention halls, seeing things, seeing different games, visiting the booths for all the vendors and stuff that I want to go see. Went to saw the Catalyst booth, ran into some people there that I met, some Catalyst people. A lot of the authors, some of the big wigs, big cheese people, that was fun.
Yeah. Did you, I know Catalyst, you're a Catalyst,
Demo agent?
Demo agent, yeah. So I know you got to meet some of the people there for that as well.
Yep.
Did you get to run any games for them or anything like that?
No, I was strictly a fan this time. I didn't want to sit there and have to work any of the booths or anything like that, but I was like to interact with people and stuff like that I knew from the demo team and talk to them and stuff like that. So I actually talked to a couple of the other demo agents that I've known. But yeah, I didn't run any events because, like I said, it was my first Gen Con and I didn't want to be strapped to a table, not to be able to see anything, but just demoing a game for the whole time I was there.
Alrighty. So that was your Thursday, which is where everybody started. And I think the 350 people from WolfNet had a 2-on-2 tournament.
They had their doubles, yes.
Your doubles, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get to see anything on their YouTube channel.
Don't think they streamed the doubles. I know they streamed the normal 350 though.
Yeah, they did do that. Yeah. So it's always interesting because I do like the idea of the 2-on-2 tournament. Now, did they change that from 200 points aside to 250?
Honestly, I don't know if they did or not.
Okay.
Don't know. But that's a question for Aaron or Andrew.
Yeah,
or any of those guys.
I'll ask them next year when I go.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go start then on Friday, because I know you played in 5 games on Friday. That should have been an entire day.
Yeah, I actually only did 3.
Only did 3?
I only did 3, yes, because I was getting, like I said, because of the size of it and where things were at, me and my anxieties and stuff like that, I was to the point where I was like mentally fried by game 3, and they needed somebody else to drop to make teams even, to keep the tournament kind of going. So I volunteered to drop 3rd round to make it even teams.
Oh, okay.
Or not teams, but even players.
So what games did you participate in there as far as within the tournament itself? I
did the 350. And like I said, the first game I played gonna butcher his name now. Kinzel. He was playing the second, the Ryukin, basically force, really high and mobile, a lot of heavy armor, so it was really hard to get through.
What was the table? What was the objectives on the table?
What was the first one? Was it just I don't have my notes in front of me because I've lost them since then.
That's okay.
It's been on so long, but it was a fun game. I did lose it. It was King of the Hill, I think.
Okay.
Jonathan was the one who's talked everything. I should have listened to Jonathan's thing, but yeah, it was King of the Hill, I believe, and just with the stuff that he had with the heavy armor and stuff, my armor set up, just didn't play it right. So
wow, It's one of those things where year after year at those tournaments, especially LVO, we would see someone with a mostly combat vehicles and 2 mechs win the tournament or take high marks in it. That I was actually surprised that wasn't the winning combination, but I figured that's the fact because a lot of people don't know how to use combat vehicles in maps like that. So yeah.
Oh, he had 2 vehicles, and like I said, the 4 vehicles, but they were all pretty much. Like I said, they had that reflective armor or something like that too, so it's kind of unique.
Yeah. Would that be a Liao force?
No, it was a Korea force.
Okay.
So it was probably hardened armor and stuff like that, but it was because Korea's got the hardened because of ballistics. Well, I was kind of playing.
What era were you guys playing in? Dark Age?
Yeah, Dark Age.
Okay. All right, that makes sense then.
And I did a Republic of the Sphere Old Guard list.
Yeah, I saw the mechs. They're gorgeous.
Wow.
As always.
I still got to get yours done. Just life in general has been hitting me again.
Yeah, I get it.
2 hurricanes, or actually 3 hurricanes.
Yeah.
School work and all.
Yeah, no kidding. We've been pretty much hit pretty hard here in Florida with the storms. Now, I'm not going to talk the war stories of my friends and what problems they've had, but needless to say, there's a lot of hurting people out there, and especially on the coastal areas. But our hearts and minds goes out to them.
Most definitely.
So what did you... the way I saw most of the games, because even though I was working from home, I had my computer up so I can watch the televised games one after another, and I saw a lot of people that I've seen before at the tournaments there, like the guys from Valhalla Club.
Yep.
And a couple of other organizations. I saw Jonathan on the TV on our side.
Yep.
And I was looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, good God, these guys are definitely pushing the envelope on the games, and you can tell some people had more experience in the format than others. Like we had quite a few new people too. I actually played one of the new players in my
second round, and he learned a valuable lesson of what C3 is.
Oh yeah,
because I had C3 on my list too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because every time I played, I have never beaten Jonathan at all. I consider him our 350 guru in our area because, I mean, that's the one style of BattleTech that he totally excels in. Yeah, well, he took the whole thing for GenCon. He took the 350 title, so... Yeah, he was part of our first episode. Yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to see about if we get into some other people on here for this one, but the 2 of us is just fine for now. The other question I had for you is, you didn't participate on a Saturday. No, because I was in top 8. Yeah. So did you go back to the vendor room, or did you attend any of the events that they had, like any of the podcast shows that were there, or any of the... not really. A lot of times, a lot of my Thursday, and so like I said, my Thursday, I basically dropped after round 3, which is fine. That was just a favor to Andrew and Aaron because those guys are awesome, and I didn't mind dropping because, like I said, mental space wasn't there right now. Right. I was actually just go back to Thursday and what was going on. I was like, well, I'm going to go walk around a bit just to vendor hall. And I went back to the Catalyst booth, and Randall Bills was there, and I hadn't seen him because he actually wasn't there on Thursday night. He was actually someplace else. So I got myself back in the queue line to go over and just to shake his hand and get one of the reunification patches and stuff like that. I was able to talk to him. Well, I was standing, like, sitting there and stuff like that, and it was funny because Patrick was with me. He was actually stayed over at the 350 area just watching, talking to people. And he's like blowing my phone up, and then Andrew's the same way. Like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in the Catalyst booth waiting to talk to Randall because it's like one of those lifelong dreams to actually meet Randall Bills, one of the guys that's done BattleTech for the whole 40 years and helped create the game and stuff. And I said, I'll be back over in a little bit. And they're like, oh, okay, we understand, but come back as soon as you can.
So I walked back over, and Andrew and Aaron are kind of like, "Carrie, we need to talk to you." I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "We want to let you know you won Best Painted." I'm like, "What?"
Oh, no,
I
agree with.
And I was totally shocked that I actually won Best Painted. I was like, "No, you guys are joking." Like, "No, you actually won Best Painted." So that was kind of a surprise that kind of made my Thursday a little bit better headspace wise. But it was still good. And like I said, I got to meet quite a few people. I've got pictures of me and Jason Hanza, Michael Sariello, which everyone kept confusing me and him because we look a lot alike. They said we're brothers from a different mother. That was the funny thing there. People went up me in my cosplay costume to take pictures with, because I actually made that Smoke Jaguar jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Based off MechWarrior 5. Saw people from Piranha saying that's pretty cool. They actually liked that I actually copied their thing from Piranha, from their video game. So it was kind of cool. That was my Thursday, just pretty much after I left the event, was just kind of hanging out more and just talking with people. Friday was more of just, I can't remember what I do on Friday.
Well, that should have been the first day.
Yeah, Friday. That was Friday. So yeah, Saturday I actually was kind of just relaxing too, just hanging out. Because I had a big event for that, was Masters and Minions that night.
Oh, okay.
And that's where you get teamed up with 3 random people that are considered the Minions, and you have a choice of a mech of your choice, and you go against 2 Masters, which are people from Catalyst of different levels and stuff like that. Nice. So that was Saturday night, yeah. And of course I played a Smoke Jaguar person. I got the jumpsuit back on and stuff like that, and was actually piloting a Stormcrow TC.
Cool. Very cool.
So yeah, got to be a head capper with that.
That is nice. Yeah, that's one game I would have been there. I probably would not have made the final 8.
No, I didn't get the final 8. Because I didn't play for final 8 in the 350, but like I said, after the 3rd round, I was so mentally taxed.
Yeah.
Just because of what was going on. Yeah. The first 2 games were okay because I was kind of on the outside of the perimeter, so I wasn't like boxed in. But then that 3rd game, I was like already kind of on edge, and I got put more in the center. And after that 3rd game with stand up or headhunter, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm just not into it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not having fun. So that's why I walked over and said, "Do you guys need anyone to drop?" And they're like, "Actually, we do." I'm like, "I volunteer." So, because usually those guys will drop out too, because they had Tommy and they had Matt playing, and Charles was playing. So I didn't want one of them to drop out, because like I said, they do it all the time, being the format directors and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then when he made it, he was like, "Oh my God, I made it to top 8." And I thought the entire... Yeah. I like how they're doing it now, where they have 2 days and they have masses, and then only the top 8 advance to the second level. And I thought that was a bunch of fun when I heard that they were doing that.
Yeah, so Jonathan was playing hot. Jonathan was doing real good. And like I said, I watched his games, and I knew he had a good chance of taking the whole thing. He had one real tough game, and it went down to the very end if you watch that video.
Was that the finals?
The finals, yeah, with him and Bill Kim. And it was a hard-fought match. It went to time, and I think he got it just barely on maybe one objective or just a slight MOV advantage to get it.
I think he total points damage.
Yeah,
he got that one. He
got that margin.
Margin of victory. Yeah,
margin of victory. It was very tight.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot lately in some of the tournaments that I've watched. I've seen a lot of people just sneak it in that way, but it's just one of those things where it's funny because they were talking about it on WolfNet 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about there's 8 possible, scenarios that you can be ending yourself in, but you have to make an advance. You can't make a 350 point force that can cover every single one of them. You have to choose where you're going to go: the heavy route, the light, the fast, infantry, helicopters, or just a couple of combat vehicles and whatnot. You have to pick and choose how you're going to go. I
do like the extra 50 points though now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
That does help.
Yeah,
so that's a good call on their part.
Yeah, I got a guy that wants to try the 350 format with me at Armada in 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks. And he's building a 350 force. And I tried my 250 point force. It was 249 point force, but that I put together to take on most. And then I have another 100 points if it's, capture the flag or something like that. or the zones, one of those
Gotcha.
events that I'll switch out 100 points here for 100 points there to get them done, heavy wise. But it was interesting to me because the guy I tried it out with, he had his Kickstarter arrive, but he went with mechs. He didn't get any of the combat vehicles. So when I showed up with 2 SRM carriers, he had never played against SRM carriers before, an Alpha Strike, and next thing you know, he's like, "What happened?
Yeah,
They do that much damage? They do that much damage?" We were, yeah. And it's like, oh, because he was targeting my 2 heavy mechs, and all of a sudden, those 2 little guys wiped out his 2 heavy mechs in 2 rounds. And he was like, "I can't believe this." He goes, "I can." He says, "I'm used to fighting with combat vehicles. I know how to use them. I know not to play them, how to look for cover for them. And when I set up the table, set up cover for them so that either the first or the second round they can get into some cover, But it was a fun thing, and I'm hoping to bring more people to the 350 format in the next couple of months over at Armada Games, and I'm hoping to bring possibly my Steiner Arena to Critical Hits one weekend coming up.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It has been fun. I've only won 1 of the 3 matches that I put up. And let's see, I've used a Flashman. I've used what was the other one I used? An Archer. Bad mistake.
Yeah.
And most recently I used, because they said you can use anything prior to kind of Invasion era. And the guy that wanted to play it that way, I said, anything? Yeah. So I put a Star League era Marauder in the fight, and I kept bouncing around the outside, and I won. Out of 8 people, I was the last mech standing with very little damage because they weren't worried about my little Marauder. They didn't respect it. They were too worried about the other mechs. So it was an interesting match, and it's funny because. Next time we play that format, they want to play Jihad era, so this guy can bring his one of his Celestials.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, in Classic a Celestial? Really? With your pilot all jacked up and everything else? I don't think so.
Well, probably not going to have the augmentation with the Solaris pilots. That was for the Blake exclusive type thing.
Yeah, well, I've been keeping it with no clan mechs involved.
Yeah.
Because I want the games to last longer. Because clan mechs can do a lot of damage, but they can't take as much damage unless you got the really heavy ones. But the flashy ones don't do so well in the format. But I'm glad you at least got to experience GenCon.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would imagine you had a lot of fun because. I probably would have done the same thing Thursday. I would have gone, and there would have been a couple of booths I would have checked out, but I would definitely been a catalyst.
Yeah, it was
seeing what they had for sale to buy.
Yeah, the line was wrapped up around the booth. Let's put it that way. And they were passing that little number system, and it worked really well. You could go look at other places if you wanted to. Check back in about. They were telling you, come back in about 20 to 30 minutes, and if your number's still in line, to get back in line. So it's not like you were strapped down to stay in that line. You could actually walk off if you wanted to. But me and Patrick actually kind of stayed in line because we were talking to, like I said, they had the authors there that were there. Like I said, I talked to Jason Hansa quite a bit. I talked to a couple other guys that were there. Met Michael Stackpole because he's actually the one that takes your number at the booth. So you don't realize that. And Patrick's like right next to him and doesn't even realize who it was. I'm like, that's Michael Stackpole. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's Michael Stackpole. So, and just watching Patrick's reactions because he doesn't know these people, it was just kind of like, how do you know them?
He knows the names.
He knows the names, but he doesn't know the faces. And that's the funny thing because I was pointing people out. We met Brent Evans, talked to him, the art director for Catalyst, met Scroggins, the BattleTech director for art. So it's kind of
for the 3D build, I think Scroggins.
Yeah, Scroggins and some other guys and stuff like that. So it was really kind of just his face was like, what? I'm like, yeah. So it was a lot of fun doing that.
I talked to Patrick for a little bit. I was trying to get him for
Yeah.
some podcast as
And
well.
like I said, the whole thing was he was trying to top me up. I'm like, I'm just a demo agent person that follows BattleTech like anybody else. I don't really know these guys by know them in passing, so actually getting to meet them and shake their hands and stuff was kind of cool.
Yeah. So it was interesting to me. I mean, when I saw the pictures that you guys brought back, I was thinking to myself, damn, I should have mortgaged my future to go.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, if you plan accordingly and stuff like that, it's not that expensive. Yeah. The biggest part was trying to get transportation. Uber killed us because of the surge pricing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were only like less than a mile away from the place, but we actually had to pay like almost $60 for a ride. It was insane.
Yeah, well, because they knew you guys were there at the convention, and they'll stick it to you if they can.
Well, what's the surge pricing too? Because they know it's a bigger event and they need more drivers, so they try to get people there, and you pay. And I found out from Uber, from stuff like that, the drivers don't see much of that surge. It goes right to Uber. So make sure you tip your Uber drivers.
Yeah, well, it depends how much that Uber's charging me for the ride, you know. But it's something that. So that was about a mile away.
Probably about mile and a half, something like that. It wasn't that long a drive. It was probably about a 30-minute drive. If traffic was okay with us, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So.
That's not that bad.
No, and like I said, no, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, staying at an actual hotel that's there, you would need to have reserved it last year.
Yeah, and they're expensive too because they jack the prices up for the hotel rooms that are there. So it just, my advice is, if you can get a rental car, get your own, but then you're going to fight the price and then try to get traffic and get a parking space in the parking garages. So kind of a double-edged sword. Take the Ubers, pay the high price, or rent a car and try to find parking and pay a price to get the parking.
Yeah. It's a racket.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah. So that's one of the conventions I definitely want to go to.
Yeah.
And if I ever do end up moving to Spain for my retirement, like I think I want to do, haven't decided if I really want to do that or not yet. I want to go to Essen in Germany.
Gotcha. But yeah. My main thing.
Yeah. So, but long as you had fun, and as long as, did your dice betray you in any of those games? I got to ask that.
Yeah, no, yes, they did. That's probably like my headspace by the third game I was done. I was like, I think I got Bradley's luck, but then I'm thinking, no, I have better than Bradley's luck. Bradley had the tree fall on him, so I'm still lucky.
That's true.
I needed, basically, the way my thing was set up with the C3 and stuff like that, a lot of my shots only needed like 5s or 6s at long range, and I was getting 3s and 4s, the typical... the dice rolls, but then when they did hit, they hit hard because I had the Ajax in the back with my master. Ajax B. And then I had the other little units running around trying to, like I said, my second game, the new player, I tried to warn him. I'm like, are you sure you want to put your Warhammer 2C right there? Are you absolutely sure? He's like, well, I'm like, this is now considered in short range because this guy is in short range and he's seeding C3 data to my Ajax. And he just, I asked him 3 times, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
and he learned the value of a lesson fast that Warhammer 2C disappears with Ajax, and then my Thunderhawk slamming into him also.
Yeah.
It didn't have the C3 network, but it was a skill 3 pilot that stood still in the woods, so it had a negative, it was already a 2. And he was, so that's, Gauss rifle, heavy Thunderhawk, Then of course I had the Phoenix Hawk 2C also, which was a brute with its indirect fire, and that was kind of the 2C did not stand up a chance, and my guy was actually able to get one of my Infiltrator Mark IIs into the bunker, and he lost a Warhammer 2C because of it.
Wow.
Yeah, and the only thing I lost was the transportation locust.
I think it's. Did you see anybody using? What do they call it? Pickup trucks or?
Not the game. Not any of the games I played, and I'm kind of glad because I just despise that strategy. But
well, I was listening to a recap that the guys from WolfNet was talking again 2 weeks ago on the Thursday night. It was almost 3 hours that they were talking about everything, and they were explaining different situations that the rules are written one way, but they actually could play like this and that, which I thought was very interesting because they explained a couple of things that I've wondered about for a while. But I think it was interesting because they said one guy, the one where you have two, captain and lieutenant. Well, a lot of good that does. That one where you have the officers and you're trying to hunt down the officers.
Yeah, headhunter.
Headhunter, yeah. Well, he said, one guy put in the very corner of the battlefield, put a hill and put a medic in that hill and designated him as his commanding officer, and then put Annihilator on top of the hill. That
was a while ago. That was from LVO 2 years ago, and they actually said in the rules now I don't think you can do that. I think they said can't caddy corner terrain in the corner and hide a unit behind it.
Yeah, they definitely said why caused the rules changes. And I was thinking to myself, smart kid. Damn, I wouldn't have thought of doing that.
That was from LVO, and a lot of people were not happy with that, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well,
but anyways,
I heard enough about LVO.
That was digressing from that. But yeah, if you got anything else for Gen Con and stuff like that, I am working on the video for Suarez Pepe, actually, of the Republic of the Sphere Old Guard. Because I do know people ask for that. I just want to say, everybody who is listening, I apologize that I haven't got a lot of stuff out and I've been absent. But between the real life stuff going on, the depression, the anxiety hitting, then 3 hurricanes, and trying to find a way home from Gen Con because of a hurricane.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So I might as well go into it.
You did eventually make it back,
I did make it back, and I actually met 5 lifelong friends out of the deal because we all sat there and said, screw this noise, we're getting in a van and we're going home.
Yeah.
But not American Airlines, you are not getting my cast vote to fly with ever again. I give you 0 stars, and I know I can't give 0 stars, but on a podcast I can. They were useless in helping me out. I actually got to I went to bed after Masters and Minions at 2 o'clock. My flight was still scheduled on time, ready to go. I wake up after a 2-hour nap saying my flight was canceled, and they scheduled me for a 13-hour layover in Charlotte.
Oh.
And I sat there and I'm like, is there any possible way that you could So I went to the airport early because they say go early 2 hours before your flight if you're domestic and whatever else. I went 4 hours before my flight. I sat there and watched the counter have conversations instead of taking care of customers, and I waited in line almost to the point where I missed my first flight out of Indianapolis. So I went to the self-check-in, scanned all my stuff in there. Went to print my luggage tag, which I'm kind of glad it didn't work out because I still got to keep my luggage, and Patrick was there to take my other little case that I got, and he sent it to me, so I got that. Thank you, Patrick. So I went and all that, went to print everything off, got my 2 boarding passes. So I'll figure it out in Charlotte and see if they can get me a flight someplace else in Florida, because not all of Florida's shut down, just our area because of Debbie.
Yeah.
It goes out, the machine makes a grinding sound. Was trying to print off my luggage tag. It makes a grinding sound, says see associate. The associate walks over, doesn't say hi to me, doesn't say anything to me. She just snatches my boarding tags out and says, what can I do for you? I'm like, first, change your attitude. I just need my luggage tag because it said it jammed up and it said see associate. So she opens the machine up. Now she clears a jam out of the printer where the luggage tag's supposed to. She clears the jam out. So it means it was trying to print something. She closes it back up, scans all my info, scans her little bypass thing, scans my boarding pass, and says, "It's reprint luggage tag." Nothing happens. She's like, "Well, you don't have a luggage tag. You didn't pay for one." I'm like, "Excuse me? I paid for this when I confirmed my flight not more than 2 hours ago." And she's like, "Well, we don't have record of it." I'm like, "Well, my flight was canceled from into Sarasota, so that's why, because your flight's been canceled to Sarasota." I'm like, "So you're not going to honor the bag check from Indianapolis to Charlotte?" And she's like, "Well, the system says you didn't pay for it. Where's your itinerary?" Now their app is being bombarded because flights are being canceled across the board because of this.
Right.
The app's not working.
Yeah.
So I show her this. I said, "Your app's not working. I have no proof that I paid for it except for..." So I said, "Hold on a second." So I go to my banking app. I pull up my banking app. 2:05 a.m. in the morning. $35 to American Airlines. There. How much does it cost to check a bag for you guys in Indianapolis? She's like, $35. I'm like, there you go. She still wouldn't honor it. So I snatched... snatched the boarding passes back from her, say, "Have a great effing day. You've really helped me out." And I go run off to try to catch my least connecting flight from Indianapolis to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So I get over there. I get through TSA. Now the person at TSA is seeing me in a rush. She's like, "Honey, I got you taken care of." She got me through easily. Of course, then she'd sit there. Of course, what happens? My measures get flagged.
Oh yeah, no kidding. You got any metals?
No, they're all plastics.
Okay.
So the person's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "I'm just coming from GenCon." She's like, "Oh, okay, but we're still seeing something sharp." I'm like, "I know I didn't pocket my hobby knife. I know I didn't pocket my hobby knife." She's, "No, it's in the top part." I'm like, "I don't know what it is. Like, my wallet's in there." So she opens up my wallet. I had a pocket tool, one of those little pocket tools.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I don't know if you can fly with this or not." I'm like, "Well, it flew from Sarasota." At this point, I don't care. I just want to get to my gate to sit and get, because I'm hearing them calling my gate number to board up. So I'm like, just take it, throw it away. I don't care. Give me my stuff and go. So she just throw it back in my wallet and let me go, because they're like, so it's just so funny. So I'm get to my gate. Now the person at the gate is like, they were calling like section 5 and I'm section 7. So I'm like, okay, great. I made it. Perfect. A little bit left, cut it close, but I made it. I'm standing there. One of the associates at the counter looks at me and says, "That bag's too big. It needs to be checked." I'm like, "No doubt. I've been trying to get it checked since I got here at 4 a.m. in the morning. And the person down there told me that I didn't buy a luggage tag." So she went on her computer, which the other person did not. And she's like, "What's your name?" She gets all my information. And I said, "Well, since you're in there," I said, "is there any possibility that you could possibly get me on a flight someplace else in Florida? I can get a rental car home." I said, "My flight from Sarasota got canceled because of Debbie." And she's like, "Okay." And she's typing away. She's like, "Well, why didn't they put you on this flight if they canceled this one?" Because she's like, "Hold on." So she actually double booked me for both flights, one from Sarasota that was in the same day and one that was from Tampa. Well, unfortunately, both got canceled by the time I got to Charlotte. And then the line at Charlotte was a 4-hour wait, and they had one person working customer service at Charlotte for the whole gate area of Concourse B, and they had 8 terminals open for customer service, but they had one
What airline was this?
American.
That was all American.
All American.
Okay, you just convinced me for next year.
Yeah, don't go American.
No, don't complain at all.
Ride.
It's all right with Bradley and a van.
Carpool, yeah.
Yeah, carpool up there, yeah.
So, needless to say, long story short, after waiting 2 hours in this customer service line, I went down to the rental car areas. Now people are getting rental cars like crazy. I had confirmation of mine. I paid for it online, got the confirmation that I paid, got the receipt. I get there told by Hertz, "Oh, we can't guarantee you a car." I'm like, "Well, why'd you take my money then? And a confirmation receipt, if you can't get me a car, don't go to Hertz." Well, this one woman that was from Enterprise, she heard the whole story, and she's like, "Well, I got a van. You're more than welcome to ride with me, because I'm actually going to Bradenton myself." So that just got a convoy of people, and next thing you know, we had me and 5 other people taking this van, dropping people off, and it was me and the last person driving into Bradenton. Nice. And we had the worst weather coming from Tampa to Bradenton, but everybody else was safe. So that was my GenCon adventures getting home. But that was a fun thing as well.
Yeah, the weather, folks around here, and I'm in Tampa. Ron's in Bradenton, and Milton was the scariest thing we've seen in a long time in this part of the world.
Yeah,
that thing was coming in, and it didn't look. I know it supposedly came in as a 3.
It was a 3, yeah.
Or it was a 3? Well, yeah, it came very near you.
It was very close to see, because Siesta Key's real close to me. It's about 25 minutes south of me. So we had the eye wall actually go over top of Bradenton, and the eye. It was so we had the eye go over top of us.
Yeah, it's funny. My sister and my mother evacuated from their place. They didn't have to, but they were everybody else in the family had them so scared.
Hey, Randall's here.
Hey, Randall made it.
Hey, how's it going?
We're pretty good. We're talking about Rod's return trip to Tampa after GenCon,
which was so much fun.
Yeah,
it was actually more an event than GenCon itself.
Yeah, and he pretty much convinced me that next year for GenCon we're all riding with Bradley in a van.
That's staying away from trees.
We're staying away from airplanes.
All right, are we sure we're letting Bradley drive? Because he got hit by the tree.
Yeah. Okay. The 3 of us will drive. He'll just read it. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, the last hurricane, his Mustang got hit by a tree. I told him, no more trees for you, man. No more.
Yeah. He just needs to nuke all the trees around his house.
Exactly.
Tell me about it. Man, it's like, and that was his baby. He loved that car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know. Unfortunately, it was funny the point that he put on that the engine works, everything else works, but the body damage is enough that they totaled it.
Yeah. Well, it was an older Mustang too. It was 96.
Yeah.
Nah, 2005.
Oh, 2005. Still older card. That's why.
Yeah, still old, but yeah.
20-year-old, they're not going to do it with bodywork. They're not going to keep it.
But it's a classic now.
It is.
Yeah. So it's
the Hot Wheels. It's the Hot Wheels version of a Mustang, though. Yeah. Anyways, he's going to hate us for this.
Hey, Randall, you got any questions for Ron on GenCon?
Honestly, I just woke up and I like watching TV and I completely passed out.
No worries.
It's okay.
Unfortunately, my brain is still not engaged.
Yeah,
so,
that's all right.
Like I said, 3 hurricanes. We got a lot going on. We had Debbie, Helene, and Milton. Jeez.
Yeah. It's been rough. But hey, we all survived, and except for Bradley's car.
Hey, at least the Bradley survived. That's the main thing too. I could not believe that happened to him.
Yeah.
So.
Human trees, not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting though. I had nothing going on in my area. I'm in. For those of you who don't know, I live north of the University of South Florida, and my area we had like 3 trees go down, and I have a huge oak tree in front of me that I refuse to park under. But it was funny, that tree survived without any damage, but the oak tree that was on the very front as you come in, that makes the condominiums a beautiful place to come in, it totally blocked the entrance and exit from that way for a day and a half. And then around 6 o'clock in the evening of that Wednesday night, we heard a crash, and we didn't find it until next morning when we went outside and we went across the street to the condo across the street from us, and there was another oak tree that came down, and you can see all the way into their living room and guest bedroom. And from 6 o'clock, those 2 rooms got flooded.
Ouch. But anyways, I think we're going to call this because we're getting into weather.
Yeah.
We're not even talking BattleTech or GenCon anymore. But
yeah, it's okay. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm glad you had at least had fun.
Yeah, I did have a good time. And like I said, it was more, like I said, for me, it was just BattleTech's turning 40. I've been playing for 30 years. I got to go one way or another for this. Yeah. And it was, like I said, I got to have a lot of pictures with shake a lot of cool people's hands that I've met before. Met some other people, actually got to shake somewhat Lauren Coleman, and he kind of gave me a brush off, but he's a very busy guy at GenCon because that's a business type thing for him where he's trying to sell the product too. So he kind of shook my hand, but kind of walked off real fast too. He didn't really stick around and talk. But I did get to meet Randall Bills, and that was a bucket list to actually shake his hand and talk to him really one-on-one for a while. Talked to Brent Evans again for one-on-one for a while. That was really cool. And then, like I said, I got to meet Michael Ciravella, my brother from another mother. Michael, if you're listening, I love you, man. I hope to get you on the podcast soon. Same with Jason Hanza. I got to get you guys on here. Thank you again for asking, about my podcast, our podcast, I should say, and wanting to be on. That's actually pretty cool of you guys to actually volunteer your time for us to be on, since we are a newer podcast and we're just trying to get our things going. But I just want to say, shout out those 2 guys because they definitely showed interest and they did want to come on the podcast. We just got to find time to get them on.
Yeah, they're busy guys. Cool. They're busy guys. But you know what? We'll get them on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get them on one day. And I've read both their books now that they've written, and some short stories for Hansa.
Have you read Hansa's Irreplaceable? Definitely recommend it.
I think I have that one. I haven't read that one yet.
You need to read it. It's so good.
Okay. Good enough.
And then, of course, Michael's is coming out to the new one. What is it? Trial of Blood Right. That's coming out in December, I believe.
Okay.
That's Michael's new one. And then we got a new one out today, actually. So I'm going to date the podcast. If people are smart, they'll know what day it is. Do Philip A. Lee's book today, Letter of the Law. Just came out today.
Okay.
And then...
Today?
Today, yep.
Okay, all right.
Also,
we're recording this on Friday night, the 25th, guys.
I was going to let people try to guess, man. You ruined the fun. Yeah. Anyways, also another recommendation, because I'm the Lord Nut in the group, also Hounds at Bay by Doc Swift. Oh my, for a short story, and if you like the Kell Hounds and the struggles they went through with the Jade Falcons hunting them, definitely read it.
That's a Hansa?
No, that is Doc Swift. Another nice.
Okay.
I did not
Okay.
I did not see Doc Swift. I missed Doc, but he's a really good guy too.
Okay.
But his new book, it's a short story that came out. Actually available. It's on Kindle right now. Hounds at Bay. Really recommend it. Really good.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
All
I'm
right.
done.
Well, guys, like kind of a Gen Con and American Airlines rant.
Don't use them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I do want
Drive.
to do one call out. So Jonathan put together terminal.tools.
Oh,
and
yes.
That is a really cool kind of enhancement of the master unit list. So anybody who's had some complaints about master unit lists, you might want to check that out.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the comments and in the show notes.
Yeah, it's terminal.tools.
Yeah.
Okay. Good enough. All right, guys. Semi-short podcast tonight. Y'all have a good evening, and this should go up next Wednesday at around noon,
Hopefully.
which is the 30th, I think. Yeah. And take care. Till the next
All right.
time. Take care,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
All right, watch your sixes.
See ya.